Hi, this is Nancy Damiano, and today I have the SCT delivered summer kit. It's called Picnic in the Park, and I've gone through and looked a little bit at it, and I love the tropical feel that it has. It has an overall summer feel to it, but I'm going to pull out specifically the tropical things because I have this little collage of vacation photos that I want to use. This was a vacation that we took about 2 years ago to Marco Island, and I'm missing in that album from that vacation a title page, so that's what I'm going to make today. So I took some of my favorite shots from our week there, and I used an app called Pink Monkey, which gives me the grid, and then I just simply drop in my photos, and then I printed it out at Persnickety Prints, and this is a 6x6 photo. So it gives me a nice little shot of sunset photos. This was the Everglades beach, and I like that kind of eclectic look and that snapshot of the entire week in one layout. So first thing I do when I get a kit like this is to look through the papers, and I will just pick out all my favorite prints and things that I feel go together. So almost picking a kit within a kit. So this, of course, my number one paper. Love rainbow, love lots of colors. So this one I will definitely set aside. I love this one, even though I would probably use this in bits and pieces because it's really busy. I love the green too. I think this also matches the tropical feel. This one will leave for another project. I like the way these two go together. Love the yellow. Wood grain goes more with these. Pretty floral, more yellow. Like that chevron, I'll use that with those. These have the same tone as does that blue. They sort of have a grayer or a more tan look to them, where these are my bright whites. And then my cardstock, I almost always use white. And the reason for that is because I think all colors obviously pop on white. And it's just an easy and a design go-to for me. Okay, so we'll set these aside and we'll use this on another project. And so now that leaves me with these colors. And of course, my eye immediately goes to this one, the white, the yellow, and the green. We'll see how much we'll use of those, but those are the ones that I feel make a great combination. And then here I have all my embellishments and my photo. I'll put you through fast forward so you can see the process. Okay, let's get started. Now I'm going to trim off a little bit of this rainbow pattern paper, my favorite. All the colors in the layout are based on this. And I'm going to use it as a border at the bottom. So we'll trim off some of the white cardstock and then leave a small border of color peeking through. Next, I'm going to create a wreath. So I'm going to use this circle and a pencil for a guide. And we're going to stitch a nice wreath with this DMC floss in rainbow colors that match the paper, the pattern paper. Next, I have to pierce a whole lot of holes all around that wreath. They're about 1/4 inch spaced apart. I eyeball that. And through the magic of video, they're all done. That takes a little bit of time. And now I'm just marking off. I need 5 sections for my 5 colors. So I eyeball that as well. And then that pencil mark will give me a guideline as to how much pink and orange and yellow and green and blue I need to do. Next comes the fun part, which is the stitching. I do love it and I find it therapeutic. This probably took me about an hour, and I usually will binge watch something on Netflix while I do that. I use 3 skeins of DMC floss, and that gives me more of an embroidered look than a machine stitched look. It's not too thick and it's not too thin. And just a really simple back stitch. And I try to keep that as tight as possible without, of course, ripping the paper. And you get better and better at it as you practice. Now we'll fast forward through and I'll show you the results. And here we go. And then there you see that sort of shading from one color to the next of the rainbow. And I used just a scrap piece of paper that I had to give me a 12 by 12 guide so that I get these papers on straight. Now that I have that done, I'm going to add a little bit of Heidi Swapp shimmer in butter, for a little pop of yellow. And I use a paper towel just to soak up the excess. That way my paper doesn't bubble up and it dries a bit quicker. I'm going to put the photo down a bit off center because I'm going to decorate all around it. So next comes our acrylic title. I love the script and then the type font. But first I'm going to add a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to do the stamping before I glue down that acrylic. And I'm going to use the stamp that came with the kit. And just stamp a little saying 2 times repeated. You are my sunshine, and then sunshine a 3rd time. And we're going to layer some die cuts off of the right there just to give that title a little bit of weight. And I decide on the pineapple because it's a vertical line opposed to the horizontal line of sunshine. Then we'll layer some puffy stickers. And this is the fun part. This is what I thought of since the first time I saw these flowers is I'm going to create a wreath, a really colorful wreath to highlight a photo. And so we're just going to go all the way around. I'm going to use almost the entire sheet of puffy stickers. And that's going to give me that nice tropical look. I'm only going to have a tiny bit of journaling because since this is a title page, I just really need to put where it was and when it was. Not a ton of writing here. So that's what I'll do with that little green spot. Now that I'm committed to the wreath, or at least the start of the wreath, I can put down that acrylic title. And that's my fine line applicator and some Scotch quick dry glue. Couldn't live without that. I'm going to handwrite my journaling this time. I don't do it that often, but it's nice every once in a while, especially when it's just a little bit of journaling, to add your own handwriting. And I guess I feel comfortable enough to do it here since it's easy to fix if I mess it up. I could always just use another tag. I'm going to stamp the date. I always put the date on my layouts because I don't scrap in chronological order, but I keep them in order. And I decided to need a little pop of color, a little bit of green, another layer. It just, if you look at it now, it makes that little journaling spot pop out a little bit. We've got to use some of these great Doodlebug enamel dots. I love these, they're kind of glittery. And I'm going to use them right over the paint splotches because they look a little bit like paint splotches themselves. The puffy stickers are very forgiving. You can move them around, at least in the first probably 30 minutes that you put them down. And so I keep adjusting the flowers and adding more. That was a good base, but it looked a little sparse. And so now I'm adding all the little leaves from that sheet. And there we add more flowers, and you see it really coming together and filling in the design until I don't see very many open white spots. And it frames out that photo. It keeps bringing your eye back to the center of the page. And the little leaves going in different direction, same thing. They're almost like pointers pointing you to where you want folks to look in your layout. So that's why you see me keep arranging and rearranging them. And there you go. One easy, simple, pretty little wreath with lots of color and a perfect title page for my vacation album. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time with your SCT delivered kit.